Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you a first-person replay commentary. This is a game that I played yesterday. It was a Bristleback game, and it was a bit of a grudge match. Two of the people we were playing against were being kind of dicks in the game before, so we were going to try a little hard here. Or at least I was, That's why they said hi. It wasn't that guy, though. It was some of the other ones. Okay, so random Bristleback. Really fun hero. Their players have no integrity, so they picked Huskar 2 games in a row. So we basically had to play against a Huskar. They haven't picked him yet, but there will be a Huskar in this game. But since I randomed, I get a little more leeway with my item build. Most importantly, I can go to lane with the Stout Shield and with a Ring of Protection at the start, which is really nice. It's really nice to have those immediately. So Salve Tango, Stout Shield, Ring of Protection, and I had a little extra item space, so I got a Ironwood Branch. The reason I didn't completely fill out my inventory is because I usually like having an extra space, because very often what I'll end up doing is just selling one of the Ironwood Branches, and then I've technically wasted 26 gold. If I'm not contested in a lane, I don't really think that filling up your item slots all the way at the start of the game is completely important or not. So, man, Bristleback looks so good, I must say. Like, his portrait looks just fantastic. So many little details and cool things. They did such a good job on the art there. Okay. Basic item builds that I'm going to be going for. If we take a look at their heroes, they don't really have a typical offlane hero, so we'll see what ends up happening. They have a Bloodseeker, which I'm pretty sure is going to go jungle. I think he must have intended to pick something else, but he has maybe he tried to do Bounty Hunter or something, and he got Bloodseeker instead. Who knows? But they don't really have an offlane hero, so this might be really easy for me. We'll see. I was all tabbed here, of course. Salve Tango, I'm going for a Ring of Basilius here to get some mana regen over time. It's pretty important because his int gain is actually really good. It's his highest gain by far. He gets a 2.8 intelligence gain and a 2.2 strength gain despite being a strength hero and despite being naturally a tanky hero, but he would be OP if he had a good strength gain. So basically you need a lot of early burst mana regen that's not based on intelligence, so a Ring of Basilius fits that perfectly. It also gives him 3 armor and 6 damage and all that good stuff. So Ring of Basilius really rapidly is a great item pickup for Bristleback. Following that up, obviously you want to grab boots and grab a magic wand and grab a treads. Those are the best. That's the best way to go. You may recognize Clairvoyance. He's a once in a while caster with Toby, and he's a very good player. He didn't do any of the shit talking, by the way, so just want to make sure that that's clear. So I'm just kind of trying to take a look out for any opponents in the offlane. I don't know why some of the sound is off by a second, but I've been having this bug the last couple days. I don't know if it's my reformat, if it's just a new Dota version. I'm not really sure. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's a little delayed. So I'll just sit in lane and last hit for a while since nobody's trying to lane. If you look on the map, there's a Bloodseeker that's sitting on the small camp, so he is jungling there. But whenever I get a chance, I can go end up picking up my Ring of Basilius, and I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to buy it now. It's very hard for me to die to creeps, especially when I have a Ring of Basilius as well as a Stout Shield, so it'll be a-okay. And I decided to try something new. I've never done this before as a safe lane farmer, but I decided to just run the creeps in a circle. That way they didn't die under tower, and then that way there's a better chance of them not pushing out. Especially because it looked like it was a single pull, so if we keep all the creeps together... One mistake I made is that I let the range creep take damage first, so that's going to end up not equalizing the waves, but by keeping the waves together, this slightly helps prevent the push that is happening. But since, like I said, since I let the range creep die first, the damage is not equal for the equilibrium here, so it's going to end up pushing, but it was kind of fun to try it out. I was like, I'll give this a shot, see what happens, and this is what ended up happening. So make sure that you do use your Quill Spray for last hitting here. If there is a last hit that you're not going to be able to get, it has to be very low because your level 1 Quill only does 20 damage, but if the creeps are very low and you don't have time to auto attack it, you might as well spend the 35 mana to take the last hit. It also pushes the lane very slightly, but overall this isn't the worst thing that can happen. So it's kind of crazy how many range creeps we picked up here. But yeah, oh, was my Basilius on this whole time? I think we decided that we were going to push at some point. Can't remember exactly. It's almost the 3-minute mark. The catapult comes at 3 minutes. I don't believe it's in this wave. Yeah, I don't think it is, because we would have seen it in the Radiant wave as well. So this wave will come forward. And things will be a-okay. So he pulled the side camp as well. I don't know if I seem to remember those range creeps survived. So I think we will be turning this into a push with the catapult. And I think we did this because nobody's in the offlane, so what we might as well do is take a really early tower. And then if we can lane control after that point, it's really beneficial for us because it's basically just a big kickstart of gold towards a lot of our support heroes and other core heroes. And that's a huge deal. 250 gold towards our support heroes can be the difference between them having boots a minute or two earlier, and maybe that'll be a kill, or maybe their roam will be more successful or something like that. I should have quill sprayed for that range creep, but I wasn't really paying attention to it because I wasn't anticipating there being that many range creeps. I've never seen a wave like this before. Just like a billion range creeps here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So now we're going to try to push. My Ring of Basilius is on because I want to give as much armor as possible to my creeps. And we are going to do some AoEing on the creeps. Again, using quills to get some last hits. And the catapult makes things a little bit problematic because it's very survivable, but once we pick this off, the creeps will get aggro to the tower. But the most important part is that our catapult is still alive and hitting away because it does the most damage by far out of everything else. So
Strygor's tracks run red.
And again, creeps again.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So go back to right-clicking this. I want to make sure to get all these last hits since I'm playing a farming role. Bristleback is not the hardest carry by any means, but he does have some actually pretty good options of snowballing and doing good damage despite mostly being just tanky. Was not able to get the tower. The catapult looked like it got the last hit, but we took the tower. It would have been really nice to pull the creep wave back right now. We made a bit of a mistake not doing that though, and if you take a look at the map, you see the Bloodseeker shifting over. And I did see this a minute or two later, but I figured it was pretty safe to take at least one more wave of EXP and last hits here, since we're doing pretty safe. But this is going to push the creep wave under the tower, and what we needed to do is get the creep equilibrium back by our tower. If we forced the Bloodseeker to continue jungling, for example, he would have still had really crappy ways to get experience, and that would have screwed him over a lot, because jungle Bloodseeker is garbage, and delaying his level 6 is by as long as possible is actually really important because his offlane is just simply not going to work out nicely. So I think I actually messed it up. He did actually pull here. I think I messed it up by doing a little AoE or attacking a bit too much. I can't remember exactly, but a little bit lack of mindfulness from me, and it kind of messed us up. I guess it wasn't right now. I seem to remember it happened eventually. I just don't remember when. But it looks like I'm lane controlling just fine here. I'm not really sure what the problem was. Maybe we had a single pull or something, but anyways, I'm going to continue getting last hits. So our mid hero was a Dazzle. DK ended up having a lot of trouble this game because he got ganked a whole crap load, but at least we pulled the lane equilibrium back. So everything looks okay. That's going to put Bloodseeker back in the jungle. If we take a look at last hits, I'm in the lead at 33. I don't have as many denies as Huskar does, but that's not too bad. Let's take a look at what level we're looking at for some of our heroes. Our Clockwork is doing the worst at level 2, so their offlane is beating ours, but other than that we're doing pretty good. And this is probably about where the lanes started pushing because it went under tower here. If the next creep wave also goes under tower, it's really going to hurt us. And it doesn't look like it does. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm pretty sure at some point I pushed the lane. I just don't know when it was. I don't think I missed very many last hits at all though, so I'm pretty happy. I decided to buy a Magic Wand now. I think Magic Wand on Bristleback is absolutely necessary. First of all, because his mana pool is a bit low. If they have any mana drainers at all, for example, it can really cut into your survivability, because you won't be able to spam quills or acid spray or nasal goo is what it's called. Sorry. All right, I think this is the moment when I messed up. Maybe I decided to kill this wave. I'm guessing that it's gonna stack range creeps and it's gonna end up pushing. There's a gank on the mid lane, of course. And DK is going to get killed. It's actually a pretty tough lane. It's not a super tough lane for Dazzle because the hero is relatively strong in the mid lane, but maybe we just decided to push again. I'm not really sure. It's an interesting skill build. Went for the max heal build. Helps him push and stuff, I guess, but kind of interesting. I have my wand flying out now. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing for my item build, it's a little different than what I've done in past Bristleback games. Yeah, I did a lot of auto attacking here. This is a mistake. Unless I deny the crap. Okay, I did not. I'm just like waiting for the push to go badly. In a typical Bristleback game, in most situations I'll actually grab a Vanguard. very early. Okay, and here's the extra auto attacking that I did finally. And this is going to push the wave. I maybe could have just sat with this wave for a long time, but I knew that it was time to basically leave the lane and go fight. I've got 50 CS at almost 8 minutes, which is really, really good. And I'm prepared to start my next item build basically. And normally, like I said, I go for a Vanguard, but I didn't need a Ring of Health in lane because there was no contesting. So what I decided to do is basically push the lane right now, so that I could take one more level of, or one more wave of last hits in CS, and then I can go team fight and try to gank and stuff like that. Bristleback isn't like somebody that you farm for the late game with. He's more of somebody that you get enough farm about now, and then you go try to make some action happen. So I'm going to sell my Salve because I need an item slot. I'm going to go pick up a Vitality Booster, increase my survivability and my HP. And what this is basically going to do is it's going to give me more HP, which means more time to spam Quill Spray and maybe get kills. And I can also dive better with this. If you guys don't know how Bristleback works, every 250 damage he takes from the rear, he'll release a Quill Spray. And the way Quill Sprays work, they'll do base damage here. I have it leveled up all the way, of course, because I want the damage to be maxed. But it does 80 damage, and then for every Quill Spray within 14 seconds, you get bonus 30. So basically, if you do a bunch of Quill Sprays in a short amount of time, you have a really good chance of just killing somebody. So I flew the courier to the secret shop, I believe, and then I transferred the Vitality Booster to me, so this gives me a lot of survivability. Like, this is a crap load of HP for 9 minutes. Plus, I have 2 or 3 levels of Bristleback, which means damage reduction from the back is massive. So basically, I just want to get as tanky as possible. I want to increase my HP as much as possible, because my ultimate goal is to pick up a Blade Mail and hopefully be able to counter the Huskar. Nothing is more important in this game than giving us a way to deal with the Huskar, and we don't have a whole lot of ways to do that right now, basically. Yeah, it looks like they do have an Observer Ward just sitting right here, so I wanted to see if I could come from the back there, but I'm not going to be able to. So here's the push that I was talking about. I pushed the wave forward, and now the Bloodseeker is finally able to get some EXP. He's going to hit 6 right now, which means that he can finally go ganking. So that's something our team now has to be worried about. The reason I'm so scared about the Huskar is because Huskar is kind of an overly strong hero right now. He's very, very good against a lot of hero compositions. His magic resistance, when its HP gets very low, is extremely high. And what most good players will do is they'll just pick up a Ghost Scepter. And when they pick up a Ghost Scepter, it basically means when they get low HP, their magic resistance gets obscene. They pop a Ghost Scepter, which makes their magic resistance slightly less obscene. And then they can continue attacking because you can actually use an orb through Ghost. So it becomes really, really, really hard to survive against them. I'm going to stack a bunch of Nasal Goose because it increases the slow. This actually increases my damage. I don't know what level this is. We're just still level 1, I guess. Alright, and now we got a Huskar, so I'm just going to TP out from this one. And as you guys can see, with a very short amount of time, I actually took a lot of damage there. I think that was my side instead of my back. I should have turned my back to him, and I maybe would have taken less damage. But I did see one Quill come out, so I'm not completely sure if it was my side or my back. But I should have turned my back to the Huskar. There's not a whole lot of heroes that it really depends where your heroes are positioned. It's basically just Bristleback, and when you're playing against Medusa, and maybe a couple other heroes. But another gank here on DK doesn't look very good. I can't TP for this one. Although Axe is going to show up and dunk the... that was pretty good. Unfortunately, the Huskar's turned up. I'm pretty strong right now. If you don't know how Nasal Goo works, it reduces armor by 1, so it makes my quills do slightly more damage. And there we go. Bristleback slightly in action here. I kind of almost died to that. I should have turned my back a little earlier. I was considering whether I should have turned and fight that or not, but I think my decision making was fine there. He was gonna die no matter what as soon as he got ruptured. I did do pretty good damage to him, and that's where things get nice. Once he dunks on you, you can reduce the damage with your passive, and every right click from there, including the burn damage, can be reduced by the Bristleback. So, and then while I'm taking all that damage, I can release quills, and as those stack up, there's an okay chance of it killing him because it's doing physical damage, which doesn't get reduced by his passive. And also this is further made better because you're reducing his armor with viscous nasal goo. So all in all, kind of works out nicely. I ended up selling my Stout Shield and picking up a Chainmail because I wanted some more survivability here. I'm considering TPing to the mid lane. I think I'm just going to run there for now. It's a nice hook there on the Death Prophet. But unfortunately, we have a hero counter with a little bit late here. I think this is a good choice by the Clockwork here. Considering fighting this one here. Playing Bristleback is kind of like a bait them into attacking you and diving you kind of a thing. It's like right now, for example, I kind of want to defend my allies, put slows on fast heroes, continue stacking quills up, and eventually I will go for kills. But I can also pull the creep wave back like this and deal with it very easily. I don't have any regen over time items since I'm going straight for a blade mail instead of a vanguard, but I still think this item build was definitely the correct one, by far. I was actually very happy with how this turned out in terms of item build. Nice word there. I like that word.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a word that we will not deword, that's for sure.
Middle tower is under attack.
It's actually pretty easy for them to just take towers from us. I maybe should have stayed mid and tried to pull the creep wave back, but it's kind of hard to say. I really wanted to gank this Bloodseeker, but unfortunately our axe TP'ing in. I don't know if that was the right TP, it's hard to say. We're going to lose Clockwork on the mid lane again for some reason, even though we're not all there. That was a mistake from him. He knew that he was going to die, so that's why he ultied. I think losing some of those deaths on the mid lane was a pretty big mistake there. We didn't need to lose anybody. If Huskar is there, we basically can't fight for a while. And I knew that I really needed to get my blade mail before I ended up dying. It's super important that you do get your... If you have an item counter towards a hero, it's so important that you get the counter up before you let him start snowballing off of your life, basically. So I wanted to play it safe. I maybe should have sat mid and pulled the creeps past and tried to delay that tower being taken. I'm a little unsure. In exchange, I got a wave or two or something like that. I didn't get that much gold out of it, but I got a little. He's got his Ghost Scepter up now, by the way, so that's pretty scary. It's an attempt at a deny there.
Middle tower has fallen.
So very close to finishing Blade Mail. Another reason Blade Mail is just so strong against Huskar, I've been talking about this whole time, but the reason is because it does pure damage reflection. So any damage you take after reduction, so that includes my back, that includes stout shield, that includes armor resistance, whatever damage you end up taking directly, that gets reflected as pure damage. And pure damage goes right through magic resistance as well, so it completely counters what Huskar is doing. Goes through Ghost Scepter, goes through everything. The only thing it doesn't go through is magic immunity. So if he grabs a BKB, then my Blade Mail won't do anything. So Blade Mails and pure damage is the way to counter Huskar usually. And physical damage is a nice one as well. But usually you have to get a select here. Drow Ranger can be useful, for example. If you get Drow Ranger from range and you silence him and you just right click him a lot. And if he doesn't have a Ghost Scepter yet, it can be really great. So about 100 gold away from finishing Blade Mail. Another nice counter that Bristleback has against Huskar is that Warpath, my ulti, every time I cast a spell, whether that's Viscous Nasal Goo or whether it's the Quills, gives me a stack of bonus damage and movement speed. So movement speed, damage, yeah, base damage, damage per stack. Yeah, and max stacks is 5. So that means if I cast a lot during a team fight, it gets my right click up a lot. And this is why I end up picking up treads rather than phase boots, for example. I know I've seen some people go for phase boots before, things like that, but I really like treads myself. So I got Blade Mail. I'm ready to deal with the Huskar. I want to see if he'll bait into this one. And luckily for me, I ended up killing him. So worked out nice. So you activate the Blade Mail as he's leaping in. His first hit will reflect for full damage, so whatever damage he does to you, that's going to get reflected. And then the subsequent attacks after that he threw onto me, he ended up Ghost Sceptering, which means it was going to stop my quill damage that came out as soon as he started the Ghost Scepter. But at that point, he was low enough where the burning damage that I was taking from his spears was still being reflected with the Blade Mail, and ended up getting a solo kill on him. And all I had to do was turn my back and pop the Blade Mail and reflect all the damage. It worked out really nicely. Really good attempt at a TP. That's the only way to get away from Rupture when the enemy team has more fighting power than you. But things are going pretty well. Getting the kill on Huskar is huge, because if you can stop his snowball, it really slows things down a lot. And that was his first death. He had 2 kills and 4 assists, so... I can also obviously use the Blade Mail against a lot of other heroes. Now you might be wondering why I just grabbed a single Vitality Booster. It's kind of the same way... It's basically the interaction with Blade Mail. Treads alone is usually absolutely not enough of survivability, so I'm going to go straight on the Huskar because I want to try to... I'm the only person that can really deal with him. I think it was maybe a mistake to Blade Mail this early, though. I don't think I should have done that. This is the worst cogs ever, guys. I understand he was trying to keep him there, but he really messed up that team fight. Again, lots of right click because I actually do pretty good damage. Team fight actually worked out pretty nicely. Yeah, Blade Maul cooldown is really not that bad. It's what, 17 seconds.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I should have TP'd right here. That was a mistake. As soon as I got graved, I should have been out. Although we would have lost the fight for sure. Looks like Bloodseeker got away, and we ended up getting cleaned up. So we definitely overdived a little bit. What was the last kill we got? We actually got none. Once we got the, all right, we got the Bane. Bane bought back, and then we just lost everybody. So that was a mistake. This is when we noticed Clockwork had the wrong skill build as well. It's really important that you don't max out rockets first, and in most circumstances, rocket is really not that great. It only does 200 damage and the cooldown is very long. You should almost always, and in fact, in almost all Clockwork games I play, I almost always max battery assault first, because it by far gives you the most damage potential. If I want a little bit more rocket in the early game, I'll go 2-1-2-1 build, where I get 2 battery assault, 2 rockets, and 1 cog. And in rare cases, I'll even max out battery assault and then cogs afterwards because my damage is so low. That was a mistake for him to go in there. It appeared like they did not actually have a sentry, so. That was nicely done. He was able to get the last hit and but not steal the Aegis. This guy's really hard to kill. I didn't even realize I was ruptured this whole time. Blew up that guy pretty good. We got a Bane kill as well, so things are going okay. Getting your Viscous Nasal Goo to level 3 is really important because it doubles the minus armor that applies every time you cast it. Some people will not get the 4th level because it doesn't do very much. If the only difference between level 3 and level 4 Viscous Nasal Goo is that it gives an extra 3% slow per stack. So that means when I cast it on people 2 times, that it'll do an extra 3%. So it's kind of not worth the extra skill point, but I kind of felt like grabbing it just for a little bit more slow since we're a little weak on disables. So it's generally better to just leave it at 3 and continue to get stats, but I decided to go 4 points instead. Probably not worth it, but I don't know if 40 extra HP would have made the difference regardless, so it's kind of hard to say. So, alright, so item build at this point. I think I had a longer period of inactivity at this point in terms of farming. I decided that I should go back to base to heal because if I did end up wanting to get a kill anywhere, I was going to need more HP, and since I decided not to buy any HP regen items, I have to rely on the fountain to do this. So if I want to go defend top, for example, I'm going to need full HP to be able to do it. So I did want to go top, so I think I did glyph this one. And I'm just going to regen up for a second here and start the TP, because by the time my TP goes through, I'll be there. I could maybe chase him, but I didn't really know where the rest of their team was, so I just played it safe and decided to take last hits. It would have been a pretty tough chase to be able to secure kills on him, and I kind of want to kill the catapults anyways, so. I don't think I finished my thought on treads again. I talked about this last time I played Bristleback, I'm sure, but I like treads because you get plus damage from your warpath, and adding attack speed to plus damage is the best way to do increased DPS. We found the Huskar here. That was really nicely done. Oh, he did end up surviving, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, the Nyx Assassin ulti is a really good way to do some burst physical damage, so if they can use that while Huskar is low, it's the best way to kill him. And the Nyx Assassin had really good decision making this game. He did a really nice job. Nyx is actually pretty good against Huskar as a whole. He has a lot of really good ways to deal with the hero. His ulti does some burst physical. He has a really long duration stun with his first skill. Mana Drain is pretty useless, but his third skill as well. If Huskar goes to dunk him, he can reflect all of that damage as pure damage as well. It's very similar to blade mail in that way. Again, I'm actually taking fairly significant damage here. I don't have a stout shield, so I don't block as much HP or as much damage from a basic creep. Armor is not as good against basic creeps because they'll always do damage. A stout shield can possibly reflect a huge percentage, well 60% technically. Because if they do about 20 damage or less, that means they're going to be hitting, there's a 60% chance of stopping their damage entirely, whereas armor will only stop like 50% of the damage. So every time they hit, they do 10 damage, and it ends up doing a lot more. Okay, so next item I'm going for is Heart. This covers two of my problems right now. It covers my lack of HP regen, and it covers my still I want more HP to reflect with blade mail problem. Because Huskar, especially the last time that I killed him where he dunked on me and just hit me a bunch with spears, it was, oh, it looks like we're fighting on the mid lane, unfortunately, and I should be moving instead of last hitting. Although, no, he's dead. There's no way I can save that, so I should have looked earlier to see what was going on, though. They'll probably turn this into a push because we have 2 dead heroes now, but my problem is I still want to finish my my heart, if possible. So I'm going to go send, I accidentally bought a TP here. I tried to sell it, but for some reason it didn't sell. That was really confusing, and this kind of delayed a couple things. I knew that they were very possibly going over here, so I hid the courier in this little clump of trees. And in fact, I did end up spotting some of them. This is a little scary. Alright, so I was going to buy the Reaver, but then the next problem was that since I accidentally bought this TP, I couldn't actually purchase it. And then I couldn't really be at the next team fight, kind of. I guess they were going to take that tier 2 tower no matter what, because we still had DK dead, but maybe I could have been set up or something. It's hard to say. So there we go. I bought the Reaver. I'm going to take one more creep wave, I think, and then I'm going to go TP back to base, because they may end up pushing. Just surprised I missed that last hit. Oops, and that one too. That was silly.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I don't know why I ran over to the side shop there. I should have grabbed that catapult. I'm about to hit level 16, which I think is why I stayed here. Once you hit 16, your work rate does a little more damage. So, 30 damage per stack, and the base movement stack is really good, 10%. Makes him really fast. So, since things died down again, I decided back into the jungle, I'll just continue to take last hits. Because I want to get my heart finished. The reason heart is by far the best tanky item in this game. If you look at their damage sources, they're almost all, well, I guess they're not all pure, but Rupture does pure damage, Bane's Sap does pure damage, and I guess that's about it for pure damage. The rest is magic. I didn't really want to make a hood because I want to be able to reflect with blade mail, because if you get a hood, it reduces the damage you take, so that means that the amount of reflection you can do with your blade mail is reduced. Because you only have so much you only have so much time. So if they can't burst you down, it's like you want them to do a lot of damage to you, and you want to just have raw HP, basically. I actually have decent armor at this point because of the Ring of Basilius and the Blade Mail, so just stacking up HP at this point is really useful. So that's why I'm going for a heart. A heart gives you approximately 1,000 HP or something like that. Unfortunately, it looks like we have a team fight going on, and I'm not ready to fight because I don't have a HP regen over time item, so this is pretty unfortunate. I probably... Looks like we ended up losing nobody, so that was pretty good. But I was pretty scared there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I'm not sure why he stood there, but he's gonna end up dying. I just told him to let him die because I wanted to finish my heart. If I finish my heart, I get an extra, yeah, I get an extra like 500 HP or 600 HP or something like that. It's really good survivability.
Radiant's middle tower has
They denied a tower, so now I got the gold, and there it is. Heart of Trust goes SP. So I've got about 2,000 HP. I've got Blade Mill. I've got ways to deal with the Huskar. I have a lot of right click as well. Just naturally having Warpath and spamming Quills gives you a lot of damage potential against enemy support heroes. A lot of them I think don't even have Ghost Scepters yet, so yeah, none of them have Ghost Scepters. They do have a lot of Force Staffs, which is a really good way to escape problems, but I shouldn't have been jungling this long. This is a mistake. I should have been set up and ready to go top. We should have been able to fight at the tier 1. I think this is a pretty big mistake. It took me forever to get my heart, I guess. I don't know if they ultied for that one or not, but we should be able to fight for the tier 2. We should have fought at the tier 1, I think. That was a mistake for me not to be there. But I've got my heart now, and I have a TP scroll, so I'll TP in. So I'll be full HP this time. I've got 50 HP regen per second. They surprisingly didn't really sentry very much. I was quite I was very surprised about this. We got the dunk reflect as well. It was really good. I was trying to block him because I wanted to just kill this guy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And again, I got blade mail.
Radiant's bottom
Was I
tower
silenced here?
is
No, I
under
wasn't.
attack.
I maybe should have gone harder. I think choosing to... They ended up killing Bane though. I'm still getting heals and things, so
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm not sure why I'm hesitating so much. I think I should have been going harder.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Stun was used at a good time. I thought I was going to be able to kill her, but I couldn't, unfortunately. I probably should have gone after the Bloodseeker instead. Obviously, I didn't get the kill, so... It's kind of funny. He just kept getting pushed, so it was really weird. Okay, so we won the fight. I should have gone for the Bloodseeker, maybe would have saved the Dazzle. I thought I could kill the Death Prophet, but she's actually really farmed. She already has the Shiva's Guard, so my attack speed is moderately reduced. If you didn't notice, I was attacking kind of slow. It's because of her Shiva's Guard. I think if she didn't have a Shiva's, I might have been able to get that kill, though. Definitely took a lot of right clicks. So I've got 1,500 gold now. At this point, I want to go for an AC, most likely, because attack speed is really good again when you already have Warpath. More armor is great because that means they're less likely to be able to kill me solo. And minus armor is also very good. If we do minus armor, that means that my quills do more damage. That's going to be very nice. It means Axe's Spin will do more damage. It's just going to all around increase our damage a lot as a team. I don't know if we could see the Roshani in here. I think they mentioned it. These guys really do have a lot of wards. Yeah, he got spotted there. Although they did blow a lot of ultis. That was a Fiend's Grip and also a Disruptor ulti. So I think he said just go fight it. I don't know why he hooked there. That was really silly. I think he was hooking for the pit. I think I blade mailed too early again here. God, our damage is really good with the weave. Weave helps so much.
Put me back into it.
Should have been hitting this whole time. I ended up getting silenced here. That's really problematic. Still ended up dying anyway, so it's too much damage. So I'm gonna buy back.
My congregation shrinks by one.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's a nice cog. Alright, so things are looking pretty good. We killed Huskar. Apparently Dazzle did? Must have been with the heal or something, I'm not sure.
Radiant's bottom tower
I figured we weren't
is
going to be able to
under
chase him down, so I decided to go Roshan. It's another really good thing about Bristleback, actually. He's very, very good at rushing because Viscous Nasal Goo removes the Lincolns, and you can stack it for minus armor. So it's very, very good against Roshan. This also increases your damage a lot, if you guys can see. I'm hitting for like 300 here, and I don't have any damage items, really. I just have a bunch of like half-assed damage items. So 40 strength, that gives 190 HP times 4, so it's like 760 HP plus 300. So it's like 1060 HP is what I'm getting out of the heart. Treads gives me another 8, which is like, I don't know, like 160 or something, somewhere around there. So pretty good damage, good HP. I did have some issues in that last fight, obviously, and something that by the end of the game I was wondering if it was maybe a mistake to not have any regen over time, because when the team fight actually starts, I have a very set amount of HP. I have Dazzle Heal, obviously, but Once I'm taking damage and I'm below that certain mark, I'm just gonna die. And in the past, when I play Bristleback in other games, I usually have like a heart, or I have a pipe, and I have a vanguard. That regen doesn't go away when you take player damage, but obviously heart stops completely. So maybe I should have grabbed something like a vanguard instead. But I think I made the right choice going straight for damage items and damage/tank items rather than grabbing like I don't know, a vanguard or something is not worth it at this point. Once you grab a heart, like you've got the tank item. You don't need anything else usually. Maybe like no, Scotty would be a waste. The int is a waste. The Agi would be vaguely okay, but the int would be a waste. Maybe like a... It would have been really good as a halberd. Maybe I should have gotten a halberd here instead of an AC. I think that would have been really good, honestly. If I grabbed a halberd, I would have gotten 45 damage. I would have gotten 20 strength, which is another 400 HP, or 380 HP or something. And I would have had utility against the Huskar, which would have been really nice. If I could have reduced his... just stop him from attacking for... what, 4 seconds or 5 seconds or something like that? That would have been really good for my allies. I think I should have gotten a halberd right here instead of an AC. Good hook shot here. Got Bane pretty easy. Unfortunately, I got silenced here. Fortunately, I got 2 kills there. The stun when he gets low is super important, though, because it prevents him from armlet toggling. You might be wondering, like, oh, how'd you kill that guy so easy? It's because he wasn't able to armlet toggle because he was stunned. So, picking up that kill pretty easily. Unfortunately, he got 2 kills. I don't think the axe should have died. Unfortunately for him, he actually used Ghost Scepter right when the ulti came, so he took bonus damage because it does. The ulti from Huskar is magic damage, so that was a little unfortunate. But on the bright side, I'm getting very close to my AC now. I actually feel really strong at Bristleback. I think it's one of my best characters, honestly. I like the playstyle a lot. You play really aggressive, and you're really tanky, and you can still do damage output. So I think it fits my playstyle really well. I really don't play him very often. Maybe I should. Who knows? I actually think he's honestly an okay carry. Like, I don't know. I honestly think he's pretty good. I think he's a pretty good hero. I really do. If you farm him. Like, these are all really good players, honestly. All the guys that I'm playing against are honestly very good players. A lot of them better than me. But it's still working out okay. You could argue that I don't have as much team fight or whatever, but, I mean, the nice thing about Bristleback is that you become early at the start of the game, rather than somewhere in the middle. So if you want something that's early, stronger earlier as a carry, he's a really good pick. He does peek off a little bit more late game. As you guys will see, I'll be running into some trouble later. Mostly around Ghost Scepters. Ghost Scepters are a lot of problems. If they pop Ghost Scepters, then I can't naturally resist. Or I can't naturally just like kill a guy. It's a little harder. I mean, obviously I could grab something like a Basher and maybe have some utility here, but I've got to go back to base now because it's time to fight. I've got a wand as well, but I want to drop that because the other survivability and damage items I have in my inventory are better. I'd rather have like a half-completed AC than a magic wand at this point.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And I'm just using some quills to get my warpath damage up.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I'm silenced here, but I might as well right-click because my right-click is not bad. I was trying to reflect as much damage as possible with my blade melee, which worked out. Now I'm in a lot of trouble.
Trouble's over.
I barely died. It was so close. But I killed 4 heroes. I like literally stopped that push when it looked like for sure we were going to lose, so that was pretty sick. The only reason that the Death Prophet survived was because her spirits came back into her as I was doing all the quills. So she ended up getting full healed from it. That's the only reason. That was a Yule's from the Nyx. Nicely done. He missed his block there, but they can still chase. You just gotta wait till the silence ends and then he can stun. It was a really nice juke attempt by Clairvoyance. That was like his only chance. He was hoping for a ground stun by the Nyx, but he did a targeted and it didn't miss. So that That was pretty fun. Alright, so basically what happened there was I had so much HP and so much survivability
Radiant's
that
bottom tower is under
I
attack.
basically had full HP and I released quills until I died. And every 250 HP I released a quill. Every 250 HP I released a quill. And I have how much HP? Oops. I need to like click on me here. I'm pulling up the calculator here. I watched the replay a couple times last night actually. And towards the end there, every single quill that I was releasing was doing like 250, 300 physical damage, which is crazy. And that's because I released so many quills in a short amount of time. If I would ever click on my hero, I don't think I will because I'm dead, but I guess we'll look at it in a second. But I think I have about 2,200 HP, so let's just say, let's make it easy. Let's say I have 2,250 HP, we'll divide that by 250. So that means at my full survivability I can release 9 quills. Alright, I've actually got 3,000, excuse me. Okay, that's a lot more.
And what?
That should be 12? Yeah, 12. So I can release 12 quills. That stacks for 30 apiece, so 12 times 30 is about 300 damage. So I released like an obscene amount of quills on those guys. So every single extra 250 damage I took, I was releasing 300 AoE physical damage, which is ridiculous. So once in a while that can happen. If you have a really overfarmed Bristleback and everybody focuses it, and they all stand within that little region for a little bit too long, they can die very easily. Grabbing a Vlad's is a good way to slow down this damage that Bristleback does. I have to defend this because they're all alive. That did a ton of damage to me because I got Hexed, by the way, if you guys are wondering. Hex is one way to deal with Bristleback because it reduces my armor. Or it stops my passive. My passive doesn't work. I don't know why I'm selected on...
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I don't know why it's not showing my hero selected. There we go. But they're going to take our mid-racks. The Hex is super big, though. It means that his ulti does half my HP instead of, like, a third or something. And then sometimes that happens, and it's a really nice time. It's like the best. I was so happy about that. So that one only did 900 damage, because it got reduced. It would have done 1,500, but since it was my back and I wasn't Hexed, his ulti only did 900. But it still got to reflect for full damage. That's why Disruptor's really annoying, guys. I have to be pretty careful here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And then right before you're ultra vulnerable, you pop the Blade Mail.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
There's so much silence. I was silenced this whole time, guys. It's really annoying. And this is the point of the game where they got really smart, basically. The Bloodseekers started just perma-silencing me. So this put us into a big trouble because number one, I can't cast Quills, I can't cast Visceral Nasal Goo, and because I can't cast any spells, I can't get my damage up. A nice glimpse, but luckily I did actually get Hexed. But yeah, the silence from the Bloodseeker just put a big kink in our plans. On the bright side, he has leveled this up, so I actually do hit pretty hard with it up. But if I can't cast any spells and I can't cast Viscous Nasal Goo, it really limits my utility and my damage output. I was really worried about dying right here when they name range because I thought they would set up for it, but... But there's basically nothing I can do at this point because I got silenced. I maybe should have anticipated this in the future if I was against a Bloodseeker, what I would have done. See, my rec click is still pretty good. In the future, what I would have done is I would have made a BKB instead of an AC. If I had a BKB, I could have been able to at least team fight with my allies. So once my allies go in, I can go Magic Immune and I can actually jump on somebody and try to kill them. It would stop the Hex, it would stop the silence, it would stop a lot of stuff. But now I'm just kind of like a walking tank that they can't really kill. They're a little scared about it, and I can't really fight either because more likely than not, I'm just not going to accomplish anything. So, nicely played by them, but I wasn't able to stop them at this point. Again, the bonus damage from the Bloodseeker is nice, but it only does so much.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's ancient is under attack. Radiant's Ancient is under attack. Radiant.
Alright, so we end up losing. The Bloodseeker was just a little too good of a counter in my opinion. Like the perma silence, dealing with the Death Prophet occasionally was not that bad, honestly. But with the Bloodseeker silence, which is a perma silence, you can continuously cast that. And them grabbing hexes was really smart as well. Grabbing the hexes reduces my armor and lessens my impact. In late game, as a carry, Bristleback ends up running into problems because I will peak off in performance because I can do silences, I can do disables, I can do stuns, things like that. I'll put a really big kink in what I was able to do. So maybe in the future, I guess I would have grabbed a BKB instead of an AC. Maybe I would have done like... Maybe I should have done like a Hyperstone and then a Black King bar. I don't think I would have finished it in time. We needed our mid to probably do better. DK got ganked a lot, and Huskar versus a Dazzle is not very fun for Dazzle. So they kind of countered our hero picks a lot, and Clockwork also fed a lot. He didn't go with very smart item build either. I don't recommend Bracer stacking. He really needed either a Force Staff or a Ghost Scepter. He needed some utility to be able to escape from the Huskar in case Huskar dunked him. So, yeah, Huskar's a really hard hero to deal with, but Bristleback actually works pretty good. So I had a lot of fun that game. I was able to get a Blade Mail pretty fast, and I was able to counter the Huskar, so I didn't make him completely Reign of Terror. I did delay the game a lot, but they definitely, in the end, they outplayed us, and did they have better heroes? They probably did, honestly. We didn't really have any stuns except for Nyx, so they probably had better heroes than us. Maybe a more mobile mid would have given us a better laning time, but didn't work out so hot, so we ended up losing. So thanks everyone for watching, appreciate it. That is a Bristleback, and I'm gonna go stream now, so if you guys want to watch, go to purgegamers.com/stream or twitch.tv/purgegamers, and you guys can watch me play some games and most likely lose a lot if you're into that. So alright, see you later, bye.